I'm just not ready. I don't know. I mean, part of the reason, I'll just explain this because this is difficult. And there's a lot of data necessarily to back you up. But every online Democratic freakout and or vibe trend that I've seen from the liberals has never really worked out. And in general, you'd be probably better off over the last 5 years betting against anything that AOC and Bernie and all them are fighting on than being on the side of them. So if you look at
That's kind of false, actually, because James Carville straight up admitted Bernie Sanders was right.
Social trends, if you look at from, wokeism to BLM to what, I mean, I could go on forever. Defending Biden, which a lot of them did, pro-Kamala, Vibe Shift, Brad Summer, Tim Walz, none of these bets have worked out. So I just am skeptical that this time their grand political judgment is there as opposed to the great survivors like Schumer and Gavin Newsom. In the interim, you might be correct, but their political judgment and track record is bad, especially in the back, from the last 5 to 7 years
of
overall
political judgment.
I mean, he survived recall. He survived recall. He's got a high enough approval rating. Listen, I don't know how they put up with him over there, but they're, the people who don't, they just left, I guess. They moved to Florida, but they like him. I don't really get it. I'm not making a judgment about myself. I'm looking purely at the guy's metrics. He seems to be doing fine. He's got a decent approval rating with a lot of Democrats. So my only point is just, I'm skeptical that we're once again trying to see some wish cast of, what progressives and liberals have a very good way of shaping a narrative through media and through, Twitter and et cetera, into believing things are way more popular than they actually are. And there's no electoral evidence to back any of that up.
Who do you think is going to be voting in a Democratic
I have no
primary?
idea. Listen, I don't know.
In a Democratic primary, that you have to appeal to
okay,
liberals.
but by that standard, then Bernie would have won in the 2020
No, because liberals were not behind him, Saagar. That's what you're missing, and that's what he's missing. Is I'm not talking about the Bernie Sanders voter. Yes, they're pissed off. Whatever. They're going to be both. They're going to be looking at it from an ideological valence. No, I'm talking about your standard normie Democrat, like the base of the party. And that is what is so different. I mean, that's why these channels are blowing up massively.
Yeah, but
that's
how do we know that's not young,
energy.
disaffected people were barely not?
The standard Democratic voter is going to be extremely turned off by Gavin Newsom bringing on Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, and Michael Savage. There's no questioning that.
Going to vote anyway. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I have no idea what the 65-year-old boomer out there and how they're exactly taking the pulse.
Do you put no stock in the fact that, listen, I know polls can be off, blah, 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 but the Democratic leadership being underwater with the Democratic base, 49% disapproval to 40% approval, that's so different, wildly different.
I put some stock in
it. And that is, your normie Democrat voter. Like, they are flooding these offices with calls. They are enraged by the capitulation from Joe Amica and MSNBC and the Washington Post and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Like, that is a very different dynamic than we have seen before. And so my contention here is simply that Gavin Newsom has an opportunity to make himself invincible in 2028, because I do think he has a lot of the things going for him that he's got plenty of money behind him. He's a smooth operator, all that stuff. But rather than making himself invincible, because if he came out as this fighter in this moment, I think he would be very difficult to beat in 2028. Instead, I think that he is positioning himself in a way that hobbles him with the Democratic base. And I feel really confident about that. Now, is that a guarantee?
Yeah, correct. There's nothing helpful about bringing on MAGA people. You're just shooting yourself in the foot.
No, of course not. But is he doing damage to himself when he had an opportunity to sort of make himself an unstoppable force? Yeah, I do think so.
Maybe. I don't know.
Correct. And there's no maybe about it. Yeah, this is really stupid from him. He could still win. But if he wins, it will be in spite of this decision to bring on MAGA guests onto his show, not because of it. He didn't listen to the left. The Democratic base is shifting left. They are. They're upset at the Democrats being too moderate and not standing up to Trump, not being Trump critical enough. They're sick of people like John Fetterman. There were people in Philadelphia mocking John Fetterman, wearing John Fetterman costumes, ridiculing him for being too much of a capitulator to President Trump and being like, oh, Trump's, he's all right. He might be right on some stuff. If you're against Trump, then you don't want America to succeed. So yeah, Democrats are sick of this. And Gavin Newsom coddling up to MAGA is just embarrassing. And it's more of what the Democratic voters don't like. He could still win again, but it's not helpful. If he wins, it will be in spite of that, not because of it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you for watching.